Today we are going to be joined by It's Iffy. It's Iffy is member of the Elder Scrolls Online stream team, a Twitch partnered streamer, a Subathon legend, a hater of pants, and every day is his birthday. For those of you new to the Kraken Cast, this is a cast where we talk with creators, be they YouTube creators, Twitch streamers, artists, game devs, and more.
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great. Happy birthday, by the way.
It's not my birthday, but okay, sure.
So it's not inside joke for anybody who might be listening to this who is unfamiliar with Iffy. The first time I ever went to Iffy's stream, I can't remember who I was watching now, but ESO community is one big family. Everybody kind of raids in and knows everybody. So they're like, we're going to Iffy. Iffy's awesome. If you don't know Iffy, it's Iffy's birthday. Please say happy birthday. And usually I'm like, oh, that's probably a joke of some sort. But this time I'm like, oh, that's cool. I mean, a streamer on their birthday. Birthday streams are hype. I was like, happy birthday. And you're like, it's not my birthday. And then that's, of course, then you know the joke and everybody just says happy birthday all of the time. I'm just curious, just to kick it off before we get into deeper topics. Where does every day being your birthday come from?
It was, look, okay, so there's another streamer, Hetty LC, Australian streamer, who I met right as I started playing ESO on PC. And he started telling people in game that it's my birthday, and everywhere that I went in game, people were starting to send me like gold and gifts and like items and stuff, and they were saying happy birthday in the zone chat. And of course I was live all the time, so then it transferred to Twitch chat, and so the game stopped, but Twitch chat never stopped. This has been that way for a very long time now.
Twitch chat does never stop.
Never stops.
Another thing I do want to bring up is, I'm sure it'll get asked, but I won't wait for the Q&A. What's the deal with no pants?
I don't even know that one. I wear pants. I like pants. I don't know where this one's come from. I think people just started saying it one day. They just started saying that I hate pants, that I'm not wearing pants. I was showing them my pants. They said they're photoshopped. That's it. I don't even know that one. I don't even know. That one's got me confused.
That's very, very true. I just want to share. It blew my mind because I was in Iffy's channel when we're talking about pants. In fact, I brought up the fact that I'd sent him 1,200 pairs of pants in Elder Scrolls Online, and didn't accept them. They got sent back to me. Very odd for somebody who likes pants. I'm just gonna say that. But you blew my mind because you're like, people are like, yeah, you like shorts, and you're like, shorts is shorts is short, no pun there, for short pants. I'm like, that can't be right. But I guess that is the originator of shorts. They're called shorts because they are a short pant.
Yeah, that's right. Shorts are pants. Pants are pants. You know, pants is just something that cover the lower half of your body. You know, jeans are pants, but we call them jeans. So why can't shorts be pants too?
I mean, if you really think about it, pants are just a state of mind.
Yeah, exactly. You know,
and as such, even if you wear pants, you could have a pantsless state of mind.
There you go. And then you could just feel like you're free right there.
I do think it's funny because I don't know how often you've gotten questions like this, but I've gotten random streamer questions when I'm taking questions about streaming, and people are like, so yeah, you can just stream your boxers. I'm like, technically I can, I don't. But
exactly. I could totally get away with it. Like I could be completely pantsless. Chat can't see the bottom half of me. I could. I just don't. You know, I have kids in my house. I have a partner. The family comes over and stuff. They're gonna walk in the kitchen, just look over in my office, and just see me stand there pantsless. I don't think so.
Are you familiar with Pokemon, or at least the Pokemon Diglett?
I'm obsessed with Pokemon. Okay. Yeah, I love Diglett. He's so cute.
So what I'd like to say is, if you're pretty much any streamer, if you've ever seen the meme, there's a picture of Doug Trio, and it shows what they look like below the ground with their heads, and it's just three very muscular bodies hugging each other. So it's kind of like Schrodinger's bottom half when a streamer doesn't show it, right?
That's right. We're all Diglets.
We're all Diglets, except for Swole Duck. For our audio listeners, I have a very muscular Psyduck. So
That's a hot Psyduck.
yeah, he gives me
Yeah,
strength.
that's proof you can have muscle and no brain and still be cool.
Still be cool. It's called being a himbo, and it is a way of life as well. I mean, everybody in ESO loves Darien, and he is the epitome of himbo.
Oh my god, I don't understand the Darien love. I don't get it.
It's
He
because
annoys me.
It's because he's the first time you meet him, he's like clearly not very bright, but he's gung ho and he's all abbed out. And then like the halfway through the quest line in Somerset, the next time you meet him, he's just doing on Artaeum, just doing push-ups for no reason. I think it's one of the first characters I've ever seen just deciding he needed to like get a quick set in before fighting a Daedric Prince. So
See, that would be cool, but I didn't meet him that way. I just met him as like this, tryhard that was just
Or he's
pretty
also
boy
that.
tryhard, you know? Like that's all I saw. I was like,
Pretty boy try hard.
yeah.
All right, shifting gears just a little bit, but still talking about streaming. I always like to start it off very, very simple, kind of straightforward question because everybody has a different path into it. Some people just, it's a whim. Some people, it's a dream. Some people get talked into it. Some people transition into it. What made you hit the go live button? What made you go jump on OBS or whatever platform thing you used and just said, I'm going to stream today for the first time? Maybe not I'm going to stream full time or I'm going to make it a full time hobby, but just that first, like, I'm going to click go live and just see what this streaming thing's about.
That's actually a really good question. So I used to be a plumber, and then I had a head injury, where I popped a blood vessel near my brain. So that like caused severe memory loss and everything like that. So I couldn't really work in a normal job anymore. And I was just sitting at home and I was like, I need to do something. I need to make money. I need to pay rent and stuff like that. I need to do something with my time. And because I just played games, like that's what I did with majority of my time. And I also watched like a little bit of Twitch, not like I do now, but I watched a little bit. And then I was like, I might try YouTube first. So I tried some YouTube. It happened. But it didn't really happen. It was pretty bad. And then I just was like, might just try live streaming, Why not? So I started out doing a PlayStation 1 first. Like that was a long time ago. And it was just like IRL friends and family came to it. And then after a while, that only happened once. And then after a while, I got kind of set up with a computer and stuff. And I was like, okay, let's actually give this like a real shot. And then just went for it, I was like, okay, I'm going here. I picked a strategy that I thought would work and for like growth and stuff, and it worked. I was like, okay, let's go.
I love that. I always just like hearing. I like because it's so varied the paths we take here. But also I always like hearing it because it always kind of gives a little insight into the approach. And you said strategy, and not everybody who goes into streaming has a strategy. Maybe they have a strategy of like the game they want to play or things like that. But some people are planners and have more of a like strategy put together. What was your initial approach, your strategy? Since you did come in with kind of like a plan of action, what did that look like when you were starting out?
So I did a little bit of research, and like we're all aware that a new streamer, there's no room to grow, right? Especially because I didn't have any IRL people this time supporting the channel, so I was going to start with zero and find a viewer, try keep them around and keep building till I can get affiliate and go from there. So I come up with this strategy after doing a little bit of research where you want to find a game category that is between 1,000 to 5,000 viewers with as least channels as possible, right? It needs to not be popular with a high view count. The reason being is pretty obvious. You don't want people to have to scroll forever. If you've got someone with 500 viewers, like a category with 500 viewers, but you've got 500 streamers in there, you're never going to get found. So I went for Ghost Recon Breakpoint at the time, which was a new game that was coming out. I was looking forward to it. It's something that I could play and enjoy, but at the same time, it had a really good like balance. It had like 1,200 viewers and like 8 streamers, something like that. So it was really balanced. Of course, the number one streamer in that category at the time was kind of holding like a lot of the viewership, but there was room to spread, there was room to grow and try and like meet people. And obviously, Twitch is all about who you know, not what you know. So you just start meeting people, and that's what I did. The other thing was I set myself a schedule from day one, which was just 7 days a week. I was starting at like 7:30 p.m. and I'd just stream. I just didn't stop. I just streamed for 7 days a week for like the first, I don't know, 6 to 9 months. It was a long time. Yeah, that was it.
Awesome. And yeah, I wanted 2 really important points you went on there. I'll go with the one you brought up first, which is picking the game you play. Obviously, it's important to pick a game you want to do, and you did. Well, you didn't flat say that. It was insinuated like it was a game you were looking forward to that you wanted to play, because people can get lost in the weeds with that one and go, "This meets my numerical needs," and then it's going to come through. I don't like this game. And then the other thing that you touched on, I think is really important, is like, enough that people don't have to scroll when you have low viewers, or at least you're in the first couple rows where you can be found, or interact with other people around the same view count. They might notice you and things like that, so you can start that kind of networking process. But also you mentioned who is holding the view count, because I think that's the thing that people sometimes overlook, is like sometimes you can have a 1,000 viewer category, click on it, and 950 viewers are with the streamer who can go to whatever game they want and hold 1K, and then the rest of the viewership is like 10. So I think what you said is all amazing. I think people getting into stream or already into streaming should definitely look at things like that when it comes to what they're doing, or at least know the challenges if you're in a super oversaturated game, but also kind of fill that out. And it's really great that you went in with I think that approach. I think because we all come at this with different experience levels, or we have different like backgrounds before we start in terms of research, and I think everybody eventually gets to where you're at if they stick with it. But it's nice to, I think, for streamers to hear like this is a good approach. Have a little bit of a plan. Schedule is so important. But I think the other thing you really touched on there is getting to know people. Networking is so crucial. And anybody who's listening to the podcast, this will be a little bit redundant. There's so much misinformation about what networking is, how you network. There's a lot of negativity towards the word networking, because people think networking just means jumping in a Discord, posting your stream if they have a channel that's, to promote yourself. And when actually what networking is getting to know streamers similar in size, similar in personalities, and trying to basically build a peer-to-peer friendship without expectations. Like basically genuinely being part of a community, genuinely getting to know people, and then not having expectations. So as you get to know them, go, hey, I want to do this co-stream with you. If they say no, also be at a place where they're like, oh, cool. But I think that's so important with networking, not just for the potential growth of it, but also we are an isolated person. We do not have a production team, a marketing team, an editor, all of these things, at least starting out. We have to wear all these hats, and it can become really overwhelming. And I think networking is so important, because finding peers that you can talk to, ask questions of, or just be able to who understand what you're going through. Like, my numbers dropped, even if it's just a little bit of and I want to say it to somebody who's not thinking I'm complaining, but just also has experienced that same thing,
Yeah. Yep.
And ESO is kind of really good for that, but obviously you're starting Ghost Recon. I'm just curious as far as what your kind of support network looks like, and kind of how maybe networking kind of played into your initial plans or your growth over time.
So originally who I networked with then, I don't see around the stream anymore. I don't know. It's a little, I don't know. It was weird. See, because I've been streaming for a long time, right? And people come and go on Twitch, especially for the ones who stay for the long haul. They come and go because people have real lives, and you can only really stay on Twitch all the time if you're doing Twitch all the time. It's the only way that it really works. So most of the people that I met, they kind of moved on. My game died, which was inevitable, and then I had to find a new game. So I went to Star Wars, I went to COD, tried to play all of the things that I like to play, and then that was kind of killing the channel. So then I went back to ESO, which I used to play on PS4, and I was very excited for that. And after that, uh, I hung out. I hung out in people's streams and the discords and everything to be a part of their stream and discord. For example, I've known Lucky Ghost for longer than I've been streaming ESO, but he didn't know I streamed until 9 months after me streaming. He didn't have a clue because I'd never promote it. Like I didn't want his community to know. I was there to be a part of his community and to experience his stream and make friends just for the sake of making friends. There was no intent to try and advance my career further. It was about just being a part of them and enjoying it as a viewer, because most streamers forget what it's like to be a viewer. We forget what it's like to just come into a Twitch chat, say hello to the streamer, and then not have 5 people jumping in saying hi. Like you want to just have a conversation and stuff. We forget because we've got we're technically influencers now. That's what we are. It's what we do. So, it was, just be a part of their community. And I still see Lucky from time to time. My mods that I had back then, they're not around. Some people that I've had falling outs with, and then other people that have just moved on with bigger and better things or something like that. It's just the way the cookie crumbles. People move, people change, and now I have an incredible mod team. I always wanted a team of mods, not just 1 or 2, and it's actually the most it takes all of those hats you were talking about. I just have to wear the streamer hat. My mods take care of everything for me, and now I'm kind of lazy. I'm very spoiled. It's wonderful. So I got Ego, Star, Vibe, Void, and Stace, my partner. And I don't really have to do anything. They remind me of everything. It's fantastic. I just chill. They do. Literally, I'll be lost without them now. I'll be like, oh, how do I do this? I can't remember how to make a command.
Yeah. Very true. To having a team and obviously building that support network is important. It's very true. People do come and go. People, have varying things. Streaming is not necessarily, content creation is not always a forever thing. Sometimes it's a hobby, or sometimes people burn out on it, or a variety of things. Like you said, people come and go. But I think, again, you really nailed it down there, though, when you said, even if those people have come and gone and changed and shifted over time, maybe you don't spend as much time with Lucky Ghost community. The thing that you said there, I think it comes back to being genuine. People, I think, know the difference between someone being genuine when they engage and are engaging genuinely with the community and with that person, versus the vibe you pick up pretty quick when someone is doing it just for a personal thing. So even if you don't interact with Lucky Ghost as much, I still think it's very important how you mentioned there was that genuine interaction. You wanted to be part of the viewing experience, part of the community, get to know Lucky Ghost as Lucky Ghost, not as Lucky Ghost is big in the category I'm in, so maybe Lucky Ghost can help me. No, you wanted to be part of that community. And I think that's the essence of networking that I think people miss. Is it's not about what can this person do for me. It's about getting to know people, so you can get to know the people who will become your mods, or get to know people you might network with later, or co-stream with later. But at first, it's really about, I think it's that genuine connection. And I think that's what gets missed a lot personally in the networking experiences. Making a genuine connection with a person, not a what can they do for me, sleazy 80s guy
exactly
approach to it.
Exactly.
So yeah, kind of sticking with that process over time and the plan and things like that. Obviously we already talked about support networks. You talked about your mods. I think a really important thing that I also was curious to talk about, because you mentioned watching Lucky Ghost just as a viewer. I always like to talk about inspirations. It doesn't need to be a specific person that inspired you, but what I mean by inspirations is streaming and content creation. And when I say content creation, I even mean the television is all about the yoink and the twist. Tropes exist and things like that for a reason. It's about being able to do it your way in an authentic way. So obviously we all draw inspirations, be they from television, be they other streamers, content creators, books and things. I'm just curious what sort of inspirations you've had along the way. You can name people if you have specific people, but if it's just different sources, I'm just kind of curious what inspirations you kind of draw from as you grow as a content creator and kind of develop your style and brand more and more.
So I've actually got a lot. I always wanted to be original, but that's the hardest thing to do on the internet. It's very hard to be original. Almost anything that you've ever done, somebody else has done it before in their own
Simpsons did
way.
it.
And it's so I drew inspiration from people like Nick Merckx's energy, with a family friendly attitude, Cypher PK's professionalism. Now those are probably the two biggest streamers that I draw inspiration from. I stayed away from people like Summit and stuff because I felt like the entertainment value wasn't what I wanted to be. I tended to be a very loud and energetic person, which played into the Nick Merck stuff, but I loved Cypher PK's style, plus he was a huge ESO person. When it came down to the category, Lucky was a huge inspiration for positivity. When it came to wanting to be more professional, after I sort of moved on and, started finding my own route, you tend to copy other streamers when you start. It's what happens. You watch other streams, you're like, oh, that's cool. And then you start to like copy them and take a couple of the things, and then you'll find your own path, like your own way to start carving out your little stamp out of it. And so once I started doing that, I was like, oh, this is great. I've got my own brand now. I've got my own style. This is me. This is now Iffy. It's no longer drawing inspiration from these streams. This is me and what I want to do. And then I met Ninja. And this man, literally, I did the same thing with Ninja. I hung out in his community for like 6 months before he even knew I was a streamer. It was crazy. And
Quick clarification for anybody who might not be familiar with the Elder Scrolls Online community. If he was referring to Ninja614, who is like one of the pillars of the ESO streaming community, not blue-haired Fortnite Ninja.
Ninja614. And this man's stream is unlike anybody else's that isn't done, by VBI that spent like 20 grand on theirs. He's done everything himself, and it is literally the most professional thing that I've ever been around. It's more like a TV production than a stream. Most streams that we have, we've got to do some tech stuff on the start and crop some windows, or, for me, yesterday was my bit rate and trying to figure out why only this PC's bit rate goes so low and everything like that. These things all happen. Not Ninja. That stuff is professional every single time. And of course he has problems just like everyone else, but camera quality is perfect. Game quality is perfect. He has a brilliant talent for being able to balance high-level content, what I consider like fast-paced content, with never missing anything in the chat. It's crazy. I never seen anything like it. So I started drawing inspiration from him in terms of professionalism and trying to turn it from a little bit more, what I'm going to say is amateurish, in the sense of like, the edges of fonts being blurry, or sizes of windows like over your screen and stuff like that. Like I tended to have my camera very large over everything because I thought, watching on a mobile, it'll make the head too small, blah, 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 all of these little things. And that helped. And then I've drawn inspiration from literally everyone. Madigon's probably my biggest inspiration for what I classify my Zen, like to be in like my happy iffy self. It's all Madigon. When it comes to hours, and I want to stream a lot, like lately I've been throwing my schedule out the window with Elden Ring. It's Loctavian. 100% Loctavian. There you go. You got the Maddie shirt.
For our audio listeners, I stood up. I have a Maddie God tank top, so I was showing off my appreciation for Maddie God there for anybody listening to this in audio format.
Literally one of the, like, we have a lot of different pillars in the community, but Maddie stands as like one of the best people that I've ever met on the internet. There's a lot of ways. Like I started out positive and family friendly and stuff, but nobody started out like Maddie, and he doesn't shy away from it. He doesn't try and change for anybody or swap to any trends or anything. Maddie's Maddie, and he sticks to it, and it's one of the most happy, relaxing places that you could ever be. It's crazy. I mean, who doesn't like jazz? Let's be honest.
Who doesn't like jazz? I think Madigon's a good place to kind of touch on some of the points you brought up there, because I think they're a really good things when we're talking about inspirations. Obviously, at first, we fake it and we fake it until we make it. And obviously, streaming and content creation, even now, is about just trying things. You don't know if it's going to work if you don't try it, and you're not going to grow creatively if you don't try it. But Maddie Gone is such, like, you talked about professionalism, you talked about growth, you know, Cypher and then Ninja, and both amazing. But then when we look at Maddie Gone, I think Maddie Gone is a really good example for people who don't know Maddie Gone. He's one who's on a past podcast if you want to go back and listen to my interview with him. He is a jazz musician IRL. He teaches IRL, and his content has grown and adapted around using jazz music, being able to be very wholesome and very genuinely. There's a difference between like brand sponsor friendly, family friendly, and legitimately I'm watching with my 6-year-old family friendly without being. I call it the Adventure Time for people familiar with that cartoon level. The level of family friendly that you can watch with your kid, a 12-year-old, a 6-year-old, younger kid, and they're going to enjoy a Maddie Gone stream. But he's also not so family friendly that it's a kid's show. It's still very entertaining for adults. And I think he's a really good at mixing, you know, that teaching background, that music background, and then applying that to Elder Scrolls Online and Nintendo games and kind of blending those styles. So I think that's a really good example of somebody out there who has clearly drawn, because people mix music with streams, people are family friendly, but he's mixed his background in. And I think when we talk about inspirations, that's the other thing is, you know, we all have different life experiences to draw on, and that's what starts making content your own. Yes, a lot of streamers use music with their streams, but Maddie Gone's a legitimate jazz musician, can mix that with Elder Scrolls and blend it together. And that's when I say yoink and twist, I don't mean this content was good, let me copy it, but it's me. It's literally music on streams is something I like, but how can I make that my music and my style for my game? And I think that's he's a very good example of that. And that's why I always like to ask about inspirations, because you can kind of see that as well for our audio listeners. Like over time, especially a lot recently, Iffy's setup has grown and changed and become more and more of that kind of ninja setup. Maybe not on the same tech level yet, but a lot more like crisp and clean. The video quality, the audio quality, a lot of those quality things are there. But it's not like he's copying Ninja's exact setup. It's more that he's taken those professional elements. And so I think that's really cool to ask about inspirations, because you kind of see those little bits and pieces, the building blocks that then become something completely different and become completely you.
Yeah, exactly. It's like everybody thought that I copied Ninja when I put in these shelves behind me. I just always wanted a shelf with collectibles and lights behind it. And to be honest, Ninja is not the first person to do it, nor will we be the last people to do it. Every streamer has a shelf with collectibles, you know? It's not a thing.
Unless Ninja is a secret Swedish furniture designer who works for IKEA
Right?
and created the Collax, which is the 1 foot by 1 foot shelving unit. You might get an off-brand IKEA, but yeah, unless he's also secretly that, which I might not be surprised. Yeah,
It would not be surprising.
but,
yeah,
it's like kind of the ultimate setup. But yeah, and I think setups are really important too, because they let you show your personality. Like I said, anybody who, again, audio listeners, my background is my living room. It's a little cluttered, it's a little messy, but I get up and I move around a lot. I have people come in and things like that, so it works for me, and I think it shows my personality. Whereas having, you know, really well manicured backdrop like Iffy has, you can see, if you're there, you can see like hot sauce, and you can see Daddy Dagon statue and Dragon Ball Z statues. You can see these little things, and if it's your first time watching, you can pinpoint things there and go, oh, that is the personality. I think that's what's so important for people getting into streaming, as you develop what your backdrop looks like. If you're not a VTuber, if you use a cam, is having things people can quickly identify and know about you very quickly, because you probably have, like, I think they say 5 to 7 seconds the first time somebody tunes in to like get them to go, okay, I'm going to watch a little bit longer.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's,
I think it. Oh,
so,
sorry.
Go on.
I think it's important for anything, whether you're on cam, off cam, you know, whatever you're doing. I mean, it doesn't even need to be just Twitch or YouTube, but whatever you're doing, I think it's really important to have an environment that you're really comfortable and proud of. If you have something that you're comfortable and proud of, then your personality will shine a lot more. When you do something like this, you're already anxious as it is, right? Extremely anxious all the time. So when you're proud of something, it's one less thing to worry about. When it's something that you're comfortable in, then you're going to feel more in your element. And I always think of comfort as like a big hug. You know, when you're nervous and everything, the only thing that'll calm most people down is a hug. Some people, they don't like a hug, but 9 times out of 10, everybody's okay with just a warm embrace. It lowers anxiety. It's just what it does. And that to me is what an environment does. It just gives you like a nice big warm hug, and then you can just go and do your thing. Because I don't know, I'm always panicking, and then I just look around. I'm like, I got my dream set up. Let's go.
The warm embrace of It's Iffy. That's the podcast episode, by the way.
There you go.
But I know I think that's a really good analogy about in terms of that. And the other thing I wanted to kind of touch on that you touched on about when you were talking about inspirations is one of the things that if you watch stream advice, at least really good things like Harris Heller and stuff that give these really good stream advices, they say you have to provide value. Now, value is a bunch of different things. Like you said, it can be, if you mentioned the really top, if we're going to use top ends, it can be the Shroud, it can be the Summit, but those are people who really, I mean, they've adapted more over time and they've changed things as time's gone on. But I mean, their big growth really came in being top tier. So they were providing value because even if they weren't as energetic, what they were providing, especially at the time when they were coming up, was some of the most top end gameplay in the games they were in. And there's a value to that. There's a value, however, also to the warm embrace, to the community, to providing a space where people feel comfortable, feel like they have a hug, feel like they can joke around, and it feels like, a nice little community space. There's, you can provide education, you can provide comedy, things like that, and multiple different things. So I think it's really important when you're talking about that as far as streamers goes, when you're looking at your value. I think people mention value and they talk about various things. And I think community is one I hear the most of on this podcast with streamers, especially streamers between like 50 average viewership to 300 average viewership. A lot of that, they talk a lot about the community focus. And I think that's a really important thing. So I think, the warm embrace or whatever it is that makes it, like, whether your stream is like a hoppin' jazz nightclub, or it's a, just a small casual coffee shop. I always use like IRL places to kind of describe what the feeling might be like. It's important to embrace that community you want, that vibe you want, because what you provide, I think also, and correct me if I'm wrong or what your experiences are, but I think that also shapes the community over time. Like, not everybody is going to like everything, but if I'm providing a certain type of energy, a certain type of community, the people who stick around are going to be the people who like to go, like the people who would prefer to go to a coffee shop over a pop-in nightclub. Or if I'm providing like this lights and sounds and all that, maybe people would prefer that will go there or bounce back and forth. So I think I just wanted to talk about how that's kind of shaped your community and the overall vibe, because content creation, live streaming is so unique because we have direct interaction with the people who are watching. We have direct feedback to the point that the people in chat, the community, become part of the stream, whether you're talking to them or they're talking to each other. So I'm just curious how your community's kind of grown to kind of match with what your brand and your style is.
Okay. So that's exactly what happens. Okay, communities are like children. They're a direct reflection of your parenting, right? That's just how it is. If I am high energy, I'm going to have a chat that's high energy. If I'm chill and just vibing like Maddie's, I'm going to have a chill, calm, and positive community. That's just how it goes. If you swear, your chat will swear. If you don't swear, your chat will naturally stop trying to swear. They will think before they type and try to keep the chat clean. That's just how it works. That's just what happens. They're a direct reflection of you and your content. If you do high-end content, you'll start attracting, more high-end viewers. If you do low, chill, writs and stuff, you'll attract people that just do writs and stuff, because people want to relate to the streamer. They want to relate to what you're doing. Nobody watches a streamer that you can't relate to, But the other thing I'd like to touch on there is I couldn't disagree more with Harris Heller. I know exactly what you're talking about. And I'm so disappointed that he said this because I'm a big Harris Heller fan, and he does a lot for the streaming community in terms of like helping us get set up and started as a new streamer. But if you're a new streamer, know this, please. Value is it's like beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Everybody has value. When he says you've got to provide value, he's not saying go and find something valuable to somebody else. Just do you. Whatever it is you want to do, however you want to act, do you, because I promise you there is an audience for everybody on every platform. No matter what it is, you can do it.
I'm actually really happy you said that. I always like to bring up, because it's something that always gets said, is providing value. And I only lightly went into it saying whereas community can be value, but what you said is more poignant. So I want to kind of dig in a little bit to that and unpack that a little bit, because that's true. When Harris Heller says provide value, and talks about the things he talks about, what I think value is exactly what you just said. I think that's so important, which is value is if I watch a streamer and I want to grow and I am not being me and I'm mimicking everything they do, I am a photocopy. Why would you watch me, the photocopy? Because I'm not making it my own. I'm not taking music and making it jazz like Maddie Gone. I'm not adding my own weird dances like I do. I'm not adding my own personal flair. I am just literally mimicking a streamer with a higher viewer count, which makes me a photocopy so no one will watch. So what I've always taken it as, not from Harris Heller, but by value, because I agree, everybody has value. And I think I rather say, which is what you just said, is be you, make the content you, make your brand you, be you, talk about, the things you want to talk about and stuff, because the value, I'm going to put that in for audio listeners, there's doing the little finger air quotes, value is actually, again, what Iffy said, it's the relatability and being able to relate to who you're watching, be able to enjoy the people who are in the community with who you're watching, which is about, again, what Iffy said, being you. So I'm glad you said that, because again, when it comes to tech videos, Harris is one of the top 3 people I watch, but when it comes to like, you have to do this to grow, I believe he comes from a very different standpoint. He grew because he provides stream advice. So he did grow because he is providing an educational value, which I think puts on the educational shades that makes him feel like this is how I grew, so this is how you must grow, is by providing a service to people, which what you said I think is more true. That's not true. Even the largest streamers, I do not watch Ludwig, which is one of my bigger inspirations, huge streamer. I don't watch Ludwig because he's providing me an educational thing. I watch him because he's highly entertaining. I relate to his form of comedy. I love gambling. I love stakes. He puts stakes on everything. And I think that's amazing. That's the value to me watching even a larger streamer versus, watching somebody who's going to give me like step by step on how to do something. So I think you're right about the value, again, air quotes, is you and your personality.
Yeah, I don't know. I expected so much better from him, because he should know, but like, so much of Harris Heller, 90% of what he says, 100% great advice. Listen, but there is that 10% that new people don't know about and they watched, like saying that you can only grow if you're on multiple platforms. I'm a living embodiment of the opposite of that. I only grew on Twitch. Discoverability, not a thing? No, discoverability is a thing. You just have to be a little more strategic and play to Twitch's rules, not to a general platform rules, because they don't have, shorts. They don't have a search feature or something like that. It's very limited. So how do you do that? You play into it by using strategies, lower view counts, stuff like that, whatever it might be. But I don't know, man. I expected so much better of Harris to be like, telling people that they have to add value. Like, I'm sorry, what do you think value is, man? Yeah. Everybody has their, like, I have people who have asked me advice for their streams, and they today have copied me and my personality, almost everything about me. They stream and they have become very popular. And, something happened where they forgot. And like what you were saying about the photocopy thing, it's very much that, only now they've twisted it a little bit in recent months into their own stuff. And it's like it's hard to sit back and watch, but at the same time, they're providing their value now. That's their value, and they do have their own elements in there. And I've got my value, which is me and how I want to do it, and I'm changing mine. Like our value is not determined by the content that we make. That's the problem. The value is by the people we are, right? Because my content is going to change. It's me that's providing the value because I'm a valuable person. Loctavian is a valuable person. Groovy is. That's just how it goes.
I also just hate the term value. I put it in quotes and I use the term because I was hoping it would elicit a response. And the reason for that is I feel it commodifies things a lot versus talking about, faking it till you make it, copying things. And again, like you're talking about somebody, kind of being a photocopy, but now they're making things around. Sometimes you do have to start at that photocopy level and then start figuring out how to do it. And that's fine. But yeah, so value is not even the right term. It's about, like I said, finding yourself. And then I also feel value commodifies things down to the point where you pigeonhole yourself. And I like to talk about pigeonholing a lot because how do you grow creatively if you put a value, you go, this is my value, this is the only thing that I provide. How do you grow creatively? At least that's what I ask myself. How would I grow creatively if this is what I provide? So now I can't, and not even to different games. So I can't try this thing in my game because, so I think there's a real risk of pigeonholing. And I do think sometimes advice is geared more towards breaking, like there's things. So there's like 0 to 3 viewers to affiliate. Then there's affiliate kind of up to like the 50 mark. And then there's partner. And then there's like 100. And so like there's these different growth milestones as you grow on Twitch. And I sometimes feel like the only way to grow on Twitch is to provide discoverability on other platforms. I kind of feel like that's advice that is geared towards people who are averaging maybe 100 or 200 viewers. I think there is a point if you want to get to a certain size where once you're maintaining a certain size from your growth on Twitch, you need to find ways to pull people from off Twitch to your stream. But I think telling people to do that, because you brought that up, telling to people to do that when they have 5 viewers or even 50 viewers takes your focus off of making your stream and working on what working on your content, because now you're spreading yourself thin too early versus getting to a point where you know what you do, what creative and all these things are locked, and then going, okay, now I'm going to branch over here and branch over there and see if maybe I can spread this thing a bit farther to grow to that next milestone. Because me and you are the same in that we both achieved partner and our average viewerships and all of that purely off of our work on platform on Twitch. I did a little bit here and there, but I really didn't start and I haven't done a lot off platform, and definitely didn't do any before I was partner. My big focus was Twitch, and I think there's a lot of people who get to those milestones and they don't have to go off platform. And if you can do it off platform, that's great. And I also think sometimes that comes from another standpoint. Harris Heller also had YouTube before he moved to Twitch, and so he was bringing an existing audience over, and there's something to be said about that. So I think I like to bring it up because for any streamers who listen to this or potential streamers who listen to this, I think it's important to bring up these other sides of the conversation, because I see way too many people now after watching a couple of those videos go, what's my value? I have to make YouTubes. I have to make TikToks. I have to do this, this, and this, and this. And then they're spread so thin, they're so overwhelmed, they're not able to even focus on the content they're doing because they don't have the marbles, the energy left for it.
Yep, that's pretty much. I mean, you said it yourself. There's this element of like I just think that you work hard and you will succeed. It doesn't matter how you do it. There's no one way to do anything. There is no, if you do this, you will succeed on Twitch, because no matter what way that is, my way, not guaranteed. Harris's way, not guaranteed. Loctavian will tell you a way, not guaranteed. There is no one way to do anything, and there's no one person is the same. Just do you, be yourself, have some fun. Like, it's going to be scary and everything, but as long as you just have fun and you knuckle down and work hard. I have a lot of other platforms, and it's very hard to control a community. It's very hard to control a YouTube and a Twitch all at the same time. And I'm not doing TikTok or Instagram or anything like that. the more that you stretch yourself out, the less quality you'll see out of everything. And the more that you go to these other platforms, then the more it's going to hurt other platforms. Because think about it, right? How do you grow on Twitch? You've got to be live on Twitch. The more time you spend working on other platforms, less time you live on Twitch. Oh, I'm not going to stream for 9 hours tonight. I'm only going to stream for 6 because I have a YouTube video to work on. Is that YouTube video going to net the same results as what it would if you just stayed live in the first place? And if so, how does that weigh up against the games and statistics that you're going to get for that live stream? It changes. I play Elden Ring, my viewership is in the toilet, but I have fun and I like what I do. If I play ESO, it goes up. You know, how do I balance the two? I've been doing YouTube. I only have 100 subs. It's very small time, and I've been, you know, I just sort of stopped because once I started stretching myself too thin, then it became like a real headache to try and get it out. And if I don't love what I do, I ain't gonna do it. You know?
Yeah, and I think you're spot on with everybody different, and I can give advice in, I guess that's what we kind of do a lot with this podcast, in so much as I think it's more important to hear a person's experience, and then sometimes I'm always a big fan of listening to everything, and if something resonates and feels true to me, grab that, keep that in my brain, lock that in, let's try that out. If something just sounds off, just let it kind of go out the other ear. So I think hearing all the different approaches, I think, helps people, because maybe something that someone says will resonate true for somebody that won't resonate for someone else. Like for me, starting to make YouTubes, a lot of that has been around approaching it from like, and this isn't going to work for everyone, but what to kind of talk about resonating. Ludwig put out a video of how to like become a big streamer, and one of the parts of that he does is when he's making YouTubes, and he makes YouTubes every day, he personally goes into every stream with, this is the YouTube video. So not the whole stream is the YouTube video, but this is the part, this is the thing I'm doing today. I'm going to put my markers in, and that's the YouTube video. So he does 90% of the YouTube work while live, because like you were saying, and that works for some people because they can stay live. So it's all about finding what works for you, but not spreading yourself thin, because again, it's all about creative growth, because we are constantly growing. And the other thing I want to say about, like, obviously different strategies work for different people, and you brought up kind of viewership when you play Elden Ring. Something I think that, and then again, correct me if you feel differently, is there's different ways of looking at viewership. I've always felt, yes, Elden Ring is super saturated. The chance that a new person finds my stream in Elden Ring, slim. My numbers will be lower because some people only want to watch Elder Scrolls, and that's fair. That's fine. When I do Elder Scrolls, they'll watch. Some people, you know, no matter what I do, they'll watch, and that's amazing. But I've always tried to look at the glass half full. Like the fact that when I do Elden Ring, it's half my Elder Scrolls streams, but my Elden Ring section of my stream yesterday being half was averaging about 50. That's 50 people who are watching me do something completely outside of what I've done for my first 18 months on Twitch, versus this is a horrible thing. So like, I think something you brought up that's important is sometimes you have to do things for you so you can also grow creatively, because if you force yourself too much to do what's going to give you the numbers, creatively you stagnate, or you get, you know, there's a risk of burnout on the game that is your primary.
Yeah, so yeah, I've been starting in Elden Ring, and mainly because a lot of people have this habit of starting in ESO and then carrying their viewers on, which is smart. It's probably the right thing to do. I've been wanting to start in a different category and then maybe go to ESO later, just to see, a reflection of my community. Who's going to come? Who's going to show up? Is it worth it? Like, am I going to be able to just have fun and do what I want to do? Or is it going to completely tank and just nobody's going to care? What was cool was last night I had a really doo-doo stream, right? My bit rate was dropping to 1,000 for like 80% of the stream, and it was horrible. But I averaged 15 viewers, 10 to 15 viewers. And I had 3 new people come into the stream last night. 1 followed, and the other 3 were talking pretty much the entire stream, right? They were chatting to me about the game. These were the main chatters, and they'd never been in my stream before. They were both helping me with the game, and at the same time just chilling and talking to me, wanting to get to know me, asking questions about myself, which I'm never good at answering. But they hung around for almost the entire stream. And that was what? 3 people out of 15 is what? 10%, is it? No, it's like 3%? I don't know. It's like
three out of out of 15.
It's like 5%?
Oh, now I figure it. I'm trying to figure it out.
Half.
7, 14. I think that's
I
like
can't math.
like 20.
I can't math.
It's like 20%. Let's say 20. I know I'm wrong, but I'm gonna say 20.
It's a large chunk of the viewers and the activity that was in the stream.
3 out of 15 is 1/5. 1/5 is 20%.
There you go. Math is hard. I can't do math. I'm dumb.
Math is hard too. I just happened to get that one.
So that's almost a quarter of my viewership was new people last night that were chilling and talking. They were the activity of my stream, which brought me a warmth and comfort that I haven't felt for a very long time. When we settle into a category, we settle in for the same conversations and the same, repeating stuff every time that we're there. But when there's something new and fresh like Elden Ring, we're meeting new people that are you can welcome and more bring into your community. And out of it, we got a follow from actually a really, really nice viewer last night who felt genuinely there for me. And the best part about it is when your streamers do, and when you start off in a different category, playing a game that you would never, as you said, out of the box, they're there for you. They're not there for the game. And that is a pretty satisfying feeling to have people that want to support you and come to hang out with you, not want to watch you for the game that you're playing, is quite a cool feeling. I really enjoyed it anyway. Yeah.
Again, it's those feelings that are important for me. Before I did Lost Ark, before I did Elden Ring, before I added these into my stream, I didn't know what I didn't know. And what I didn't know is that I'd become complacent in the Elder Scrolls category. I wasn't trying to do just what worked. I wasn't trying to not push myself as creatively, but I didn't realize I wasn't in full burnout, but I kind of lucked out and realized, I'm about 20. I was probably about 20%. I'm just going to keep saying 20% for everything now. But I was starting to burn out and didn't even realize it. But spending some hours outside of it, when I go back into ESO, I am so much more jazzed than I was before because I've been able to step away and stretch those wings in different kind of directions, and that's awesome. Also, what you said there, I want to point out, Iffy said had a duty quality stream, had 15 viewers, which is much less than what he'd have if he did Elder Scrolls Online. 3 new people stopped by, 1 followed, and they chatted the whole time. Again, Elden Ring is the most saturated category there is. So that, if anything, if you are starting out, if you are lower in viewership, and things like that, treat every stream as if you had 1,000 viewers, or just treat every stream the same, because you never know. Even the chance of 3 people stopping by a 15-person stream in Elden Ring, you'd think is slim, but here it is. If you had 3 people, including one who followed, so that's, I think, should be a huge encouragement to people of any size, that if they stop by and what you're providing is what they like, they're to stick around. So it might not be as much discoverability as other things, but there's still a chance.
Yeah, I mean, you've got to be there because you want to be there. No, like you've said time and time again, don't worry about the numbers. Don't do it for metrics. It's just not worth it. You'll burn out. You won't have fun. It'll become a chore, and you won't be doing it because you love it. And if you're not doing it because you love it, you're not having fun. If you're not having fun, your viewers can see. They can see when you're not having fun. You can be frustrated and angry. It doesn't matter. As long as you're having fun or you're being genuine to yourself, then people will be around to watch that. I don't know. Yeah, and that's always my advice as well, is treat one viewer or one stream, every stream, doesn't matter. 0 viewers, it doesn't matter. Treat it like you have 100. Even if you have 100, treat it like you have 100.
Yeah, so many people lurk also. Again, you never know when somebody just has eyes on this on the stream. So a couple of things I want to make sure we talk about. Also, if you have any questions, make sure you ask those so we can put those in the Q&A. For those of you who are watching this on YouTube or listening on audio, we do release the Q&As, but they are a 0.5 episode. So you'll be able to catch the whole Q&A by watching that video or downloading that 0.5 podcast. But for people who are watching live, make sure you get some questions in. And kind of real quick to kind of touch on the point of how to approach it. I've approached different games in a number of different ways. Sometimes I just go in and that's all I do. Sometimes I start with it and go to ESO. Sometimes I start with ESO. It kind of depends on what I'm feeling. And what I found is I also don't think there's any particularly right way. But one of the times I just did Elden Ring, and that's all I was doing was Elden Ring. There was no ESO attached to it, and that wasn't even a normal stream time for me. Had better viewership than when I led in with like ESO. Like you can't control, it goes back to what we were just saying, you can't control viewership, so it's more important, I feel like, to do what you feel is right for you. If you feel like leading with your main game into it gives you it, I'm going to go all the way back, we're going to pull back from the start of the podcast. If it gives you confidence to start in a higher view count category you have and then go into a different game, do it, because it gives you the confidence. Just like setups and audio and all these things can give you confidence, because confidence helps you stream better. If it gives you more confidence to go in blind or to start in the lower viewership and like whatever I feel you feel is right, because if you feel it's right, that's going to come through on stream, and you're going to have, again, as another thing, if you said, there's already so much anxiety, whatever's going to lessen the anxiety for you, that's the right way. No streamer can tell you, you should do this because this works, because it might not work for you. What works for you is what you feel is right.
Just do you.
Just do you. I think that's really kind of been the motto of this interview. I'm going to shift gears just a little bit. It is going to be talking about other categories and different things. It's going to be talking about comfort zones and confidence. And I'd be remiss, as somebody who did a 2-week subathon follow versus you who did an over a month subathon, if we did not talk about the experience here near the end of the podcast about subathons. Uncapped, sleeping on stream, living life on stream subathons. Because before you started, you asked me just a little bit of advice, because I had done them in the past, even though it ended up being shorter than what you did, about it. And kind of one of the things I talked about is like, you can't have the same energy the whole stream, because you're living your life on stream, which means people are going to be taking breakfast with you, lunch with you, watching you sleep. You have to treat it like a day in the life sort of thing. So I want to hear from you. I'm sure you've talked about, but you've had a lot of time, at least, a decent amount of time since the subathon, to reflect on the experience. Just your general thought. You can take it any direction you want. Just want to hear your thoughts on the experience. I think you were live for, correct me if I'm wrong, around 40 days.
Yeah, it was 40. It was a minute.
Before we hit 2022 and the land of the competitive longest subathon, Iffy for a brief moment in history was like the 3rd or 4th longest subathons. Now the 5th place person's like, it was 69 days. So now we're at a
yeah, it's gone now. We had a moment. It's gone.
But I mean, at the time, Iffy ended up going 40 days, there was not many people. 2022 has kind of become the subathons. Uncapped subathons have existed much longer than Ludwig, but Ludwig, I think, is the biggest person ever to do it, so it kind of popularized the movement. But I just want to hear your thoughts on it, your feelings on it, how it changed you or changed your approach to content creation, because you don't have time before or after stream to reflect on it. You can't really reflect on the subathon while the subathon's going on. So I'm curious how that has maybe changed your content or just your experiences with it.
I think it. So, I always felt like, as a streamer, I was a performer, right? When you sit there and you stream, you have to act a certain way, be a certain way, or anything like that. The subathon taught me to be myself. I had more viewers during the subathon while I was sleeping than I rarely do in any other category.
I guess I should clarify for people who haven't done uncapped subathons. Every stream cannot be an event stream. A subathon is a long-term event stream. So yeah, viewerships usually during subathons become quite good because people don't want to miss the end. They want to see how long you're going. They're curious to see if you're actually sleeping on stream. So it's I'm not saying do a subathon for growth, but yeah, it's wild to see how many people are saying good morning to you when you rouse from the bed, right?
It's the weirdest thing that I never got used to it. I thought I would, but like day 40 and I'm waking up, I'm like, this has to be the last day. And every time I woke up, there were people, like, I'd just look up and there's my monitor and I'd start saying, hi, Iffy, and it would start scrolling by and I was like, It is the strangest thing, and you don't get to wake up and become. I get to wake up and become iffy. You know, there's no time. I'm just me being myself. I'd wake up and I'd roll out of bed, and in all of the worst possible like light that you could see me, you saw me, and that's now made me today. Today I got the confidence to go stream Elden Ring or ESO. I don't care what I'm gonna do. I'm trying to work on being a little more interactive, because I ended up just getting this chill vibe about me now, where I'm like, no matter what happens, everything's gonna be okay. You know, that's what it taught me most of all, was no matter what happens, everything's gonna be okay. So now I'm just really chill in my content, just relaxing. I'm not stressed about anything, and I know my community will be there, like, no matter what. So I'm just chilling. But now I want to make it a little bit more fun and exciting, and I've got the confidence to do that because, well, sleeping on stream and cuddling a giant Daddy Dagon is, yeah.
And that's we haven't actually had a chance to really talk post Subathon about it, so I was curious. Confidence, I would say, is what I came out of. So I, again, never do your own thing to grow on Twitch. I said you shouldn't use the Subathon to grow, but I will admit I did. Few months into streaming, I did a Subathon. I went 25 hours, and then like 3 months later, I did a Subathon, and I went 3 days, and then 3 months later, I did a Subathon, and I went 4.5 days. So I went into the last Subathon I did, not the last one I'll ever do, but the last one I did, going, all right, we're probably got a week. We're gonna push for a week, 2 weeks, and each of those definitely did bring more eyes, so that helped me. But again, in all of those things, to me it became about, like you said, about confidence. I've always been a person who climbs mountains, runs marathons in my youth and things like that, because I just want to be able to say I did the thing, because it gives me such a confidence. But it's so much different than those things that I expected, because I thought streaming for a week would feel like a marathon, but a marathon's no matter how much support you have, is a deeply personal thing. A Subathon, these people are along with you, whether they're just checking in 5 minutes every day to see if you're still there, or they are parked, lurked, locked in with you every minute they have free, watching you the whole time. No matter the amount of time that they're giving you, you know, they're invested. It becomes this nebulous bubble of people who are doing it together in a way that it gives you such a confidence, because again, you feel the community. They're saying hello when you wake up. The first time I went to bed on stream, I'm like, oh, because all those other Subathons, like, I didn't do a lot of sleeping. I took maybe little naps while I had somebody else sit in the chair, talk to chat. But I actually slept on stream. I woke up, I'm like, well, starting the day fresh. Everybody's gonna be gone, and then you're like you said, I'm like, so yeah, I think the confidence from it is probably the biggest takeaway I had as well. And then yeah, 40 days. No matter if people have pushed past it, 40 days is no small feat. That's over a month of your life that the majority of it was on a camera.
Yeah, it was something. it was fun though. I think, like, it's one thing for people to say good morning, but like the thing that always stuck with me was these people don't have me on a tab and you know, are watching somebody else that's currently active, because I'm not saying anything. The mic's still muted. The music's on. You know, like, it's me moving slightly, and they're like, good morning. Like, they're actively watching me sleep. And for one, that's kind of creepy. But two, is one of the most heartwarming things to know that people care that much, because there were people, I think Groovy was one of them. I think Bananas was another. It felt like they did the 40 days with me. Like they were doing it as well. It was crazy. Same. They were there like the whole time.
Yeah, same when I did something. People were there the whole time. Something else that I would go back and look on. So wake up, I talk for a little bit, and then I go shower and things like that. I come back, and some nights I put on past episodes of my podcast. And so, you know, when I'm doing my business on the toilet in the morning, I just kind of scroll back through chat while I was sleeping, just assuming there'd be no chat. And I'd find like hour-long, like Maplinator would stop in when I was sleeping because he saw his episode of the podcast was on. and I'll see like a 45-minute chat with like 20 people where they're just talking about the episode that's on the screen and things like that, like completely obviously devoid of any interaction from me because I'm on that couch back there with my dog, and they're like engaged. And I thought that was such a cool thing. I think that also is such a confidence builder because it shows that it's everybody's going to say, chat, because it's an easy way to say chat. Everybody's going to say my community. But I think the Subathon was the first big showing, like, if anything really drives home that it's a community, an actual community, and not just a fan base or something like that. It's seeing people interact with each other. Not just during a Subathon, but in general, see people interact with each other, not just, with the streamer directly. So I thought that was really cool as well.
Hell yeah. Yeah, that's it's so weird. I loved it. I already want to do another one, but I'm still trying to do the Subathon milestones. I don't want to do another one till I've already done those milestones, but I've got I just have to do a cosplay stream now, which I'm literally terrified to do. I'm not the dress up type.
I used a picture of you with makeup on. I disagree.
Yeah, well, that was out of my comfort. That was one of them, actually. I think that was one of the sub goal thingies. And yeah, I know for next time they smashed those sub goals in the first like 24, 48 hours or something. It was already done. It was finished. What do I do from here? Where do I go? I got nothing.
I understand that because I'm still fulfilling sub goals as well. Because my intention is I believe Reishi Sports says it's other people say community, not competition. I believe that Twitch is a very competitive space, but it's competitive in that there's a lot of things people can watch. So it's a self-competitive space. I need to be providing the best thing I can provide so that the people who stop by my stream, if the people who vibe with me will want to stay. I don't think you are my competition. Ify's not my competition. Madigon's not my competition. Ninja 614 is not my competitive just means you should be doing your best every day to grow what you do. But I am also very motivated by other people on a friendly competitive thing. So I did 2 weeks and now you've done 40 days. So I'm trying to prep and make sure the community's ready for it and things like that, because now I want to do 40 days, but I don't want to do like 41 days to say it's not about saying I beat Ify. It's about, wow,
you want to know if you can do it too.
This person that I know, the streamer I like, this person I've really gotten to know over the time I've also been a streamer, did 40 days. It's like running a marathon. Like, some people run a marathon for the race of it, but most of the time when you finish a big long race or a mountain like that, you don't think, oh, someone climbed the mountain faster or ran it faster. You're just like, I ran 26 miles or I climbed this mountain. I just wanted to be like, I want to do it now because it's the inspiration of it. Going back to inspiration, I'm inspired to want to do it that long because it was so cool seeing somebody, because I can look at somebody who's done 120 days as number one on the leaderboard and go, now that's cool. That's really cool, but I don't know them. You did 40 days though, and that's inspiring to me because I know you, and I'm like, now I want to do, sort of thing. So,
yeah.
But yeah, I want to make sure we have time for the Q&A. So thank you for talking about the Subathon. Thank you for talking about your experiences and stuff like that. Obviously, the first time I have people on the podcast, we generally talk a lot about who they are, where they come from, and stuff like that. And hopefully we'll be able to have you on a future episode where we can kind of just talk about various subjects and things like that, because it's been a pleasure having you on. Before we kind of move it, kind of wrap things up though, I'd like to do a couple quick fire questions, just kind of like a little palate cleanser before we go into the Q&A, since a lot of the questions were a little more like, I have to kind of really think about it. So just a couple rapid fire. Who is the best NPC in ESO?
For me, NPC. Oh gosh, come on. I have my favorite. Why can't I think of them? Look, it's not my favorite because I can't remember, but this is the only name coming to mind because I'm having a complete mental blank.
It has
to be Emily Sharp Arrow.
Emily Sharp Arrow, good call. Really happy to see.
Can't think of a single name except for Darian now. Yeah, I don't like Darian.
I know we talked about Darian earlier.
Cadwell, that's
Cadwell,
him.
there it is.
It's Cadwell. Cadwell is the best. Yes.
Clip it, ship it. It's Cadwell. Cadwell's the best. You heard it here first from
Yes.
Iffy.
If you think otherwise, you're wrong. It's Cadwell.
Next rapid fire question. Recently, you just did a cooking stream. You cooked some food. Not for cooking on stream, but if you're somebody who likes to cook, what's your favorite dish to cook? But if you don't normally cook, what's just your favorite dish to eat? Like what's your or what's your go-to? I should say. Instead of favorite, because favorite can be really hard. What's a go-to Iffy food?
Favorite to cook is chicken Caesar burgers, and favorite to eat is probably green Thai curry.
Awesome. Just a couple more real quick. Because you are from Australia and all of us outside of Australia do not understand Vegemite unless we've tried it. Can you explain Vegemite?
If you do it correctly, it is delicious. But nobody does it correctly unless you're Australian. So a little bit and a lot of butter. That's how it works. All right? It's got to be it's kind of like salt. You know, you don't want a salt flavored anything. You want it there to enhance the flavor of something else. Well, Vegemite just enhances the flavor of butter and toast. So put a little bit, just a little, not even like a 5. Oh, you guys don't have 5-cent pieces, do you? I don't know. How big is a quarter? No, that'll be too big. A penny? Probably be about this half of a penny's worth on a piece of bread after it's lathered in butter. It should be like a golden brown color. I don't know. Look, do it right and it's yummy. Do it wrong and it's bad.
Yeah, a lot of people do, and especially here in the States, Vegemite challenges where they take a spoonful. You wouldn't do a shot of soy sauce unless you were doing it because you knew it was going to be horrible. You wouldn't eat a spoonful of cinnamon unless you're doing it because you knew it'd be horrible. Taking a giant glob of Vegemite when you're not used to it is also horrible, because I've done that for the dare of it all on stream, but I also had someone tell me how to do it like you said. So I made my thick slice buttered toast, and I just put a dab on and I didn't spread it thick like peanut butter. I put a little dab and just added it, and can attest like the correct amount of like you said, correct amount of like salt and seasoning. It can definitely elevate taste. But I wanted to bring it up because I feel like everybody's opinion of Vegemite is Australians are sitting out here with like the peanut butter jar of Vegemite, just shoveling it in by the spoonful.
Yeah, that's not a thing. I don't know an Aussie that does that. You know, I know Aussies that put like a lot on their toast, and that lot is still not even like a tenth of the peanut butter that you'd put on a piece of bread. You know, like it's. I just when I've seen Americans lather the piece of toast in Vegemite, I'm like, well, okay, great. You're going to die now. You're going to eat that much Vegemite. You are going to get a yeast infection from having that much yeast extract. You can't do it. It's not, you know, you're walking a line of unsafe. Just don't put that much Vegemite on a piece of bread, you know?
All right. And the last rapid fire, one more foreigner to Australian question here. How does it make you feel, assuming you drink beer, when you hear people say Foster's Australian for beer, which is the Foster's slogan outside of your fine country?
It makes me feel like I want to drag my face against the road. Foster's is disgusting. Aussies don't drink Foster's. Is Foster's even sold anymore? I don't think I've seen it in a liquor store in forever.
It's primary. I looked this up. Its primary source is as an export because they've branded Australian for beer. I can go to my supermarket and they have what they call the Foster's oil can, which is a 25 we use ounces here, so I don't know the translation to like liters, but it's 25 ounces, like just a big wide double can called the oil can of Foster's at my local supermarket.
Yeah, no, we like probably VB is the most like closest thing to that, and that's still like, you know, VB is for, I don't know, for alcoholics really. It's just a cheap beer. It gets the job done. You know, it's beer. It doesn't taste the worst. It doesn't taste the best. It's cheap. it's nasty, and you know it's that. But like, if you're any sort of like any sort of like, I don't know, dignified Aussie, they're gonna go for like a Tui's new. You can even go Tui's old, extra dry, something like that. Like you're gonna go for something else a little bit more better than that. I personally, I'm a Corona man. I love Coronas.
My man. Sorry,
Yeah, the
I'm
best beer.
I'm a Corona with a dash of rock salt and a lime. Like
Yeah, I have to go lime. Have to go the lime.
Yeah, I picked up this weird trait from my friend where I take a little rock of salt and drop it in my my beer sometimes. But yeah, I gotta go lime. But yeah, Corona is great. But yeah, I always like to ask that because I also know when I talk to people, if I go, what do you think of beer when you think of America? If they're not familiar with like microbrews or all of our other beers, people are always like Budweiser. You know, so like I get it. And ask an Irish person about beers and they love their beers, but here in the States, most of the time people think of another horrible beer, which is Mickey's. It's funny. I like to bring it up because it's funny what these companies go. They're like, nobody in our country likes our beer that much. I mean, in the States, people love Budweiser, but like no Australian likes Foster's. So Foster's like, how do we stay alive as a company? Oh, we say it's Australian for beer. Get somebody with a thick Australian accent that reminds people of a caricature like Crocodile Dundee, and people in other countries are going to drink it because they think they're drinking an Australian beer. That's why we do it.
That's almost exactly how it goes. It's so stereotypical. Yeah, Aussies are stereotyped enough, man. We don't need Fosters. Get out of here, Fosters. You're fired.
Get out of here.
Sheesh, go to New Zealand or something.
All right.
Leave us alone.
All right, that has been It's Iffy. Again, It's Iffy is a wonderful Twitch partner streamer, part of the ESO stream team. Has been doing a number of different things. 40-day Subathon legend. You can find Iffy on almost all platforms with It's Iffy, but mainly on twitch.tv/It's Iffy _ at the end. Make sure you catch his streams. They are an absolute pleasure.